Just really excited and blessed to be able to be starting the second season. This is a wonderful opportunity for our players. Our first recruiting class, so that's always a little bit exciting. And just a fresh start. I learned a lot of things last year. Sometimes when you fail at different things, you learn more than even when you succeed. So I've taken a lot of the things that I learned last year and tried to make changes and do things differently, and it's just really been a great start to the season. And we're excited. We're hungry. We have most of the players that we signed don't understand what losing is. I mean, we signed winners. They're not used to losing, and I think that mentality in itself has brought a lot to our program so far.
What has it been like coaching a team that is as young as this team? I know there hasn't been much, but over the summer, but how much has it been just a different process coaching a team as young as this one?
Well, there's definitely a learning curve, but the basketball IQ of the players that we recruited was very high. And so sometimes youth, I think sometimes is used as an excuse, and sometimes it's a little bit overrated that maybe juniors and seniors and upperclassmen understand the game better. So that's definitely not going to be a crutch or anything we're really going to discuss at any time this year. If you're on this team, you know, we need you to perform to the best of your ability. It doesn't matter what your age. But the things that they picked up on quickly, I've been pleased with. You know, we're doing a lot of repetition and going through the process of things. One thing that I did learn last year is don't assume they know anything, because sometimes we forget they come from all different backgrounds, all different coaches. Coaches teach things differently, different terminology, those type of things. So, again, just using the lessons that I learned from last year to not make those same mistakes and to help our kids grow through the process maybe quicker. But we're going to take our time, and we understand that there are going to be some growing pains.
How much more comfortable are you with being you right now in this environment than you were maybe a year ago?
Oh, for sure. I'm just definitely more comfortable. And once I went through the entire process of a whole year, I felt like that I grew a lot, you know, from recruiting to how to handle the off season, to how to handle the summer situation, and then actual practice and those type of things. I think there's no better substitute for experience, and so definitely feel a lot comfortable in this role, and I think our whole staff does. I mean, just, you know, we had 3 people the majority of the year last year in their first season, and that was difficult at times. But we grew together, we learned together, and I think we appreciate this year already more, just because we can kind of be more free in the way that we're handling things and understand what it's going to take to get us to the level that we need to be.
With the overhaul you had on the roster, aside obviously from getting better, what was your biggest priority in trying to shape this team into what you wanted?
Culture. It doesn't matter what the talent level is if there's not culture, if there's not good character on the team. I've coached for a long time, and I've had a lot of talent. And some of the most talented teams I have did not reach their potential, and a part of it was because culture and chemistry. If you can combine your culture and chemistry with talent, I mean, really the sky's the limit. We have a lot of high-character kids that believe in doing things the right way. And I believe that in itself is going to help us be a team that is going to make a big step this year. How big that step's going to be, I don't know. But I definitely think that you will see the growth and the maturity and the willingness to defend, for one thing, that maybe we didn't feel like we saw last year.
Know that you don't want to use youth as a crutch at all. So in that juxtaposition, what experience do you expect to be a big part of your team this year?
Well, the 2 young ladies that were sitting here before me, Michaela and Brianna, and then if you add Janika, are the only 3 people on the roster that had any minutes. I mean, that's pretty substantial. It's pretty much almost like starting over. You know, we had a great senior class, player of the year. You know, we lost a lot, but if you look at our stat sheet, it doesn't look like we're bringing anything back, and that's okay with me, because I know what we're bringing back, and we do only have 5 players on the roster from last year. 8 new players. But I think that sometimes addition by subtraction is something that you got to do. And when seniors graduate, you can't do anything about that. But you got to make sure that you're doing the best for the team. Our slogan this year is "We above me." We don't make any decisions that we don't say to ourselves, including as coaches, and saying, "Am I making this decision to be better for we, which is the team, or is this decision only going to help me?" And we do that from top to bottom. I don't make any decisions without thinking that. I ask our players not to think that. And once we buy into that, it's not going to matter how old we are. But yes, there's going to be a lot of new faces. People are going to have a roster in front of them for a while because they're not going to know who these kids are. But I promise you, when it's all said and done, by the end of this season, they'll know who they are.
Saw Michaela, she smiled a lot. She mentioned fun 2 different times, which tells me she's not, well, I'm a senior, I'm having to drag along all these newcomers. She's enjoying the process so far. I'm really looking forward to it.
She is, and she's a great leader. She's a great kid. She works hard. She does things the right way. She just is the prototypical type of player that we want on this basketball team. Very high character. She cares about other people. She's a servant leader. She helps the younger kids if they need things, and she's a great place to start. And I actually enjoy hearing her say fun. Now, fun to me is winning. I like that, but I don't want our players to ever not want to be at practice. I don't want our players to not ever want to be a part of this program. So to hear a senior say that she's having fun means a lot to me, because I think that means we're doing things the right way. We push them. Anyone that knows me knows how hard I push. But I think the reason fun comes out of her mouth is because at the end of the day, she knows that no matter what, we care about her as a person and that we're going to take care of them as a team. And yes, along the way, we're going to have a little fun.
Also with Brianna, she, I thought, was terrific as a freshman last year. What kind of leaps do you see her making maybe as a sophomore?
I definitely think that if I can convince her of it, that she could definitely be a big leader for us. She has been instrumental in helping our younger players come along. It is a constant in practice to look her over on the sideline, and some of our freshman post players that maybe are playing the same position as her, and she's answering their questions. You can see her pointing and telling them different things. And the fact that those young kids already know that she's a player that they can go to, I think speaks volumes for her, because they already have her respect. And I'm not sure that we have a kid day in and day out that works harder than she does. So, I mean, that's a great place to start as far as leadership.
In all of your years of coaching, have you ever been asked the question that used the term juxtaposition first off?
Great use of the word, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave.
In all seriousness, with this recruiting class coming in, are they where you think they should be at this point?
Some of them are exceeding expectations at this point, to be honest. Some are about where I thought they would be, and we have a few that have some catching up to do. But I think that if you ask any coach that would be. But to say that I am pleasantly surprised that we are where we are at this point is a true statement. Doesn't mean we're ready to beat the world. Doesn't mean we're ready to win the conference. May not even mean that we're ready to win a game. But the work ethic and the attitude and the skill level of these players is something over the years I've realized when I have these type of kids, we can be successful. I think at this point, success is relative for us right now, but we're going into our first day of practice today, and I already feel like that we're already way ahead of where I thought we would be.
I know you have 3 former players on the team now. They're used to you as a high school coach. Have they been thrown any surprises that maybe this is going to be a little more difficult than I think? Anything along that line you can share with us?
Well, I think you'd probably have to ask them that, but I think that they probably know, and most people that know me, is I'm pretty much who I am. they know what they're going to get. If they do something they're not supposed to do, they're going to hear it. If they do something well, they're going to get praised about it. I think probably what they would say the biggest adjustment from them is the expectations of the work level. There's a lot. I mean, I felt like we worked really, really hard all the years that I coached at Murray High School, and I felt like we did things above and beyond what a lot of the other high school programs did. It doesn't compare to what's required here and what we required them to do on their own. And so that's probably maybe their biggest adjustment. But whereas you never know when you bring players of your own, especially to this situation, because obviously I'm not used to being at this level and I've never done that before. It can go one of two ways for you. It really can. I mean, other people on the team, well, that's their kid, you know, that's her kid, you know, she's going to play, or, well, they're favorites or whatever. But I would be shocked if you polled anybody on our team that would say to you that they notice that there is any difference in how they're treated. If anything, they may say, well, they're pushed pretty hard. I mean, the expectations for all of our players obviously are high. There may be even higher expectations for them. So it's kind of like coaching your own kid. That kid's got to be really, really good and really has to be the best player, because if you play them and they're not, then everyone's going to say, well, they're playing for a different reason. So I explained that to them in the recruiting process. They have embraced that, and they are meeting the challenge.
Brianna and Michaela both, alluded to the fact that there may be a little bit more balance in offense this year with the departure of Bria and Kishanan. Can you elaborate on any of that expectation from you as a head coach, what the offense might look like this year?
Well, I do think that there will be more players that we can count on to score in different ways. The one thing I like about our team is we have kids that are multi-talented, meaning offensively can score in several different ways. We have kids that if we get them the ball around the rim, they're going to get things done. So we have a lot more skill. And so I can see that the scoring being maybe more even and not dominated by one player. But let's be honest, we need one or two kids to step up and consistently be the dominant scorers of this team. I've never believed in equal opportunity offense. I mean, you got to earn the right to take those shots, and you got to earn the right to improve yourself in order to be a big part of what we're doing. But the depth is definitely there. We have several players that can play several different positions, and we also have a depth chart in all those positions, which we did not have last year. So who's going to step up and be that person? Not sure yet, but I think that you will see over time that there'll be two or three that we will rely on a great deal for offense, but there's going to be a lot of people that can play that pivotal role and be a difference maker from game to game.
You talked about us being vertically challenged last year. You've been able to address that, haven't you?
We have, yes. It's unbelievable the difference when you have post players. One, last year I just needed somebody to actually be able to throw it into, just to open up something, and we didn't have that. We got out-rebounded every single game. If the other team had a post player, we weren't going to be able to guard them. We didn't really try to talk about that a whole lot or make excuses, but that was just the truth. Evelyn had to sit out last year, and nobody's going to have a clue who she is. They're going to know who she is pretty quick. I'd say in the last month, the transformation of her body and her game have been one of the things that has really excited me. She's a very good player, and she is very skilled, and she is very athletic, and she can use her body, and she can do several things. She's going to be a player that really, if you wanted me to say, name a kid that could really be the difference for you this year, she's one of those kids. And then Sakia Mack, which is a junior college player that we got, gives us some more bulk, great rebounder. She's after the ball. She may not be as offensively skilled as Evelyn is, but she's one of those tough-nosed kids that's going to get things done. She's going to be able to guard you. She's going to be able to pound with you. We didn't have any of that. Macy Gibson from Owsley County is a 6-foot kid that can shoot the lights out. I'm not sure if you put her in a shooting contest that she wouldn't win it every time. She is a skilled forward but she's also 6 foot tall, so she can guard someone on the inside if we need her to. And then you add Crane in the mix, and some, just the depth itself is going to make a difference. But actually not having to go into every single game worried, how in the world are we ever going to stop this post player? Now, there's going to be players we're going to have to try to figure out, but that's not going to be question marks that we have this year.
How healthy would you say you are going into this season off this first day of practice?
So far, we've been very blessed to be pretty healthy. We do have 2 kids that are out right now and are waiting MRIs. Don't really even know the severity of what that's going to be. But overall, I'd say the health of our team has been really good.